Hey everyone, finish watching the next episode of Beetleborgs, the Hunchback of Hilhurst. In Hilhurst, a pair of ominous hands reach into a trunk and pull out a large bell. With a demented laugh, the being rings the bell. He rings the bell over and over while laughing to himself. At Zoom Comics, the bells can be heard. Nano and Aaron complain about the sound going on all night. They tell the kids about the old town legend, the Hunchback of Hilhurst. Nano recounts a group of people went up to Hilhurst to investigate the mysterious ringing bells. What they saw inside freaked them out so much their hair turned white.
Turn you white.
Aaron finishes the story. A big hunchbacked monster jumped out at the people and ran off. It was never found, and the bells stopped ringing until last night. The kids go to warn Flabber about the potential monster. In Hilhurst, the monsters are arguing over various things of theirs going missing. They tell the kids about their experiences. Suddenly, they hear the bells begin to ring. They follow some mysterious footprints. They lead up to the attic. The Magnivores have heard about the bell-ringing monster and make a plan to get it on their side. Since it's not from the comics, the Beetleborgs can't send it back. At Hilhurst, the kids come upon a trunk of bells. Suddenly, a voice bellows out, "Those are my bells!" From out of the shadows lumbers a hunchbacked human. It's not a monster at all. Flabber recognizes him. Flabber explains that he grew up in Hilhurst, hanging out in the attic, ringing bells. He's Quincy Moto, a football player from Notre Dame University. Drew knows him too. He saw his game on TV a week ago. Quincy Moto ran headfirst into a goalpost and he lost his memory. He came back here because it's the only place he remembers. Suddenly, the Magnivores teleport in and kidnap Quincy. Noxic Typhus and Jara take Quincy on a rampage. The kids track them down, but Typhus summons the jet fighters to distract them. After defeating the jet fighters, the kids go to talk to Quincy. They try to tell him that he's not a monster, he's human. "If I'm not a monster, then why is everyone always afraid of me?" he responds. Roland says people are just judging him by his looks, and that's wrong. Quincy is through listening to them and charges. The Beetleborgs leap out of the way, and Quincy runs headfirst into a telephone pole. He faints, and the Magnivores leave. The Beetleborgs go to check on Quincy. His memory is back. He tries to hide his face, but the kids reassure him that he doesn't have to hide anymore. A few days later, the kids see in a newspaper Quincy is back to playing football. Beetleborg's streak of quality continues. We get another Universal Monster movie homage with Quincy Moto. Of course, like the movie, the titular hunchback turns out to just be a person. I'm convinced that many of these early Season 1 episodes were written before the superhero bee-fighter elements were added in. The Beetleborgs don't fight monsters outside of the Magnivores, and the jet fighters are barely featured. The scary story at the beginning is interesting. How long ago was the event to have taken place? I think the implication is that the people went to Hilhurst and saw a young Quincy Moto, but how scary could a kid have looked? Unless it was just everyone's imaginations. The Hilhurst monsters get some nice goofy moments. A standout is Mums dressing in 80s, 90s hip-hop gear and rapping. Quincy Moto was played by Brian Tahash. He had quite a few roles in the 90s and 2000s. He voiced a few Power Ranger monsters, Sea Monster, Brick Bully, and Lantera. He was also in Masked Rider as the forgettable Space Monkey monster. He returned to Beetleborgs as the voice of the monster Malavex. Interesting trivia note, the Power Ranger monsters he voiced were all from Season 3, Kaku Ranger monsters. Malavex, his other role from Beetleborgs, had a costume that partially reused a Kaku Ranger monster suit. Ironically, despite voicing several characters, Quincy Moto himself was dubbed by Dave Mallow. Dave Mallow was an extremely talented voiceover artist, best known as the "Today on Power Rangers" announcer and Babu. He also voiced many monsters in Power Rangers right up until Wild Force, and also provided voices for several anime dubs, including Angemon and Digimon. He was in several Saban productions, including VR Troopers, where he played Toxoid and Air Striker. I'm not really sure why exactly Brian Tahash's lines had to be dubbed over. Possibly there was a recording error, or he didn't have, or there were issues with some lines and not others, and they decided just across the board redub everything with Dave Mallow. A great episode! So far, Beetleborgs has done nothing but improved since its premiere. I'm really getting into Beetleborgs again. Like, I'm really remembering why I loved the show so much. It is just, it's so good. I really like Beetleborgs. So yeah, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.